Radical MP. Run! Head Radical MP limited edition paint job from collaboration between Palm Tree Crew and Head. Behind the Palm Tree Crew there is a famous DJ, Kygo, and that is probably the main reason, besides the looks, why I feel so attached to this racket, to this paint job, to this line, because well, my background, I am coming from music industry, so for me this racket is already part of my story, part of something bigger than just a racket. And I think Head is really onto something, like the future of paint jobs, the future of rackets, I think, is to make them more personalized, not only through the play style, DNA of the player, but also the story and what they want to underline, what they want to tell as a person. So some rackets might be more serious, some more fun, some might underline the endorsement, some might underline the collaborations. So I think this is a great way how to build something bigger, more meaningful. And yeah, this racket has a lot of meaning to me, and that is the main reason why I will proudly put it here in my collection and keep it probably forever, because it tells a story. Great job, Head and Palm Tree Crew. Let's review the racket. Let's imagine I meet a person that is looking for a new racket, and the player is quite ambitious, quite athletic, is looking for a racket but is not really sure what is the play style, what is the level of his game. So Radical MP probably comes first to my head because it is a very well balanced racket. It is a tiny bit towards control, but is a bit above Prestige family. We saw the specs, 66 RA stiffness. To me it feels like 64, 63 maybe. So it's not stiff, it's not a noodle either. And one thing that is maybe making it a bit more all-around racket and less personalized is as a stick, as a racket, it is relatively light. It is 300 grams compared to, let's say, Blade or E-Zone. There you have 305, so a bit heavier, so a bit more serious. And here it's 300 grams, and you can start with the racket, you can later add some lead or leather or some mass here and there to grow with the racket. Basically the racket in stock form is quite good, but there is a room for customization. So like I said, it can suit probably the widest group of players, not only if we look at the level of the technique or physical preparation, but also when it comes to play style. This racket just enables you to play however you want. You can later pick a more specific racket for your DNA if you find one. And this racket is just like a chameleon, and you can play whatever you want, and you can grow with the racket and figure out what you really need. And if you find your need, if you find your niche, your way how to play tennis, your tennis identity, you can adjust the strings, you can adjust the wave, maybe leather, right, some mass at the top, and the racket turns into a bit more serious one. So yeah, like I said, the versatility of this racket is really, really good. And I've seen some really great players playing with the Radical MP, great male and female players. So yeah, great racket to have in your bag. An interesting thing about this racket, some players that are coming from a very control-oriented rackets like Prestige or Gravity that are looking for a bit more help, a bit more lift above the net. Radical MP, customized to make it a bit more heavier, is the typical choice for this type of players. It means that it is a bit more traditional, it is a bit more on a control-oriented side. The response should be predictable. The launch angle is low to medium above the net. This racket is here to underline your technique, but is also there to help you find the technique. Yeah, Radical MP is probably the most all-around racket in heads catalog right now. Let's imagine you want a bit more spin, a bit more help, a bit more aggressiveness. Probably you are looking at the Extreme Pro. If you're looking for a bit more power, you're definitely looking at the Speed line. If you're looking for a bit more forgiveness, you're looking at the Gravity line. So yeah, a lot of places you can go further, but at the same time, if you're not really sure what you need, this is the great starter. And yeah, many players might think, hey, of course I need more forgiveness. More forgiveness is a better racket, right? Not really, because when the racket is more forgiving, the sensation of the ball on the contact is a bit different, so you lose something. Like it's always a balancing game. You get something from the racket, but also you have to give up on something. With the more forgiving, bigger head size rackets, I feel like I lose the connection, I lose the ability to guide through the ball. It's like with the bigger head sizes, I automatically start to brush up, and with brushing up, you lose a bit of quality. So I focus more on driving through the ball. Smaller head sizes, for some reason, just swing differently and feel different on contact and through the contact. And Radical MP, in that sense, feels a bit better on contact compared to Gravity Pro. Gravity Tour 98, but a bit more rounded up on the head. Yeah, another well-balanced racket. Gravity Tour for sure is a bit more serious, a bit more specific, with a bit more power, a bit more spin. And yeah, the player I am playing with here today is Natalia. She's an aspiring WTA player, and she switched from the Radical MP to head Gravity Tour, looking for a bit more plow through, looking for a bit more help, looking for a bit more stability, more power, basically to push back the opponents, so she doesn't feel like she has to swing 100% all the time just to keep it safe. And with Gravity Tour, it is a bit easier to push back the opponent and yeah, punish them basically. So every player at some point, professional, aspiring professional, is looking for a bit more power, a bit more easier lift, spin. And of course, if you have the body, some players might prefer more heavier, more traditional contour-oriented rackets like the Prestige Pro or Gravity Pro. And yeah, always a balancing game, right? For me, my first session was on clay, and yeah, something was a bit missing. I felt a bit disconnected. It was just a matter of wave distribution rather than the racket itself. The wave distribution is pretty balanced in the middle, kinda. So I feel like it's hard to get rid of the hand, push it out. Basically, the solution was easy. I added like 1 gram at the top, and it came alive. It was much easier to push out the hand and push out the racket. Another alternative would be adding a leather grip, and it might bring something similar to the table. Right now I am quite happy with this small, fast modification. Here on this session I kinda had 2 jobs. One was of course to perform well, and another objective was to help Natalia find her rhythm, find her game. So I wasn't looking for maximum power, I wasn't looking for easy points or just making her life difficult. It was just to rally. Natalia is sometimes struggling with higher balls, so I had to keep it in check. And with Radical MP, it is yeah, a bit easier compared to Gravity Tour to keep the launch in check, a bit lower above the net. Of course, my technique and my understanding of the game is sometimes automatically switching to a bit more loopy ball, not really loopy spinny ball, but definitely higher above the net, because I'm a grinder, so in my mindset, playing the net is the worst mistake you can make. And yeah, above the net, always a chance of landing the ball in, and the percentages are just rising of winning the match. So regarding power, it is definitely a lower powered racket, more control oriented, but it's still there to help you compared to those really old school radicals and old school rackets. And in the past, radicals were 18-20, so here 16-19 string pattern to give you a bit more spin, a bit more forgiveness. The windows are a bit more opened, so it always helps. I am kinda 18-20 developed player that switched over the time to 16-19 pattern, and since then I feel like it's hard for me to go back to 18-20 or even 18-19. 16-19 is just much more versatile for competitions, for winning. So yeah, I guess that's it for this review. Great racket, Radical MP. One thing I can say, compared to the previous edition, I didn't feel that much difference. And compared to 360 Plus, I feel like the 360 Plus edition and line from Head was almost a complete racket with Speed Pro and Radical MP. Basically, from my memory, 360 Plus Radical MP was a bit more heavy in feel, like the swing wave I feel like was a bit higher, so it was a bit more specific in performance. And the next generations of Radical MP were a bit lower in swing wave, so the group of potential players is a bit wider, but the specific player might find something lacking, but the solutions are very easy. Current editions of Radical MP are much more versatile, much more easy to play, pick and play, maybe a bit less specific compared to 360 Plus Radical MP, which was maybe more tournament ready from the start. And here something is a bit missing, but very easy to adjust, so you have room for customization, which is also a plus. I think modern rackets, modern game is about going lighter in specs, and here you can adjust further to the taste, find your middle spot, and if a player is more traditional, you can still find your ceiling of specs. So yeah, great racket. That's it for this review. Make sure to subscribe, it helps me grow, it helps me a lot. Thanks to you, some brands recognize me, and yeah, I can review some beauties like Radical MP Palm Tree Crew collaboration. See you guys soon. Bye bye.